How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be doing an overall market update, taking a look at the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. We're also going to be doing a trading update, talking about what I personally did today in the markets, as well as some stocks and ETFs that I'm watching and looking to trade right now in the middle of January in 2020. And as you all read in the title, I also want to share with you all my opinions on NIO stock, ticker symbol NIO, the Chinese electric vehicle maker, as it saw yet again another strong green day, up around 6% on the day today. But before we do get into all of this good stuff, all I ask from you is if you enjoy this video, simply go down below for me and hit that like button, and also consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see further content from me, and if you want to be further connected with our community, the Strive Smart community. Take a look at the Discord group chat and the Facebook group, both 100% free of charge. Those are linked down below in the description box. So without further ado, guys, let's start off this video talking about the S&P 500 here, which ended up closing up, and it hit an all-time high yet again today, up $12.81, up 0.39%, and the all-time high was hit at $3,329.88. Absolutely insane day in the markets over these past couple of weeks, guys. All-time high after all-time high. And very similar to yesterday, you can see here on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, the S&P actually gapped up today, and most of the move came from the pre-market gap up, right? We gapped up, we consolidated for the entire day, then similar to yesterday, we rallied towards the last hour, half hour here in the market, mostly in power hour, again hitting that all-time high, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. We gapped up, we consolidated, then power hour came along, then it ended up hitting an all-time high at, what was it yesterday, like 33.16, 33.17. Nonetheless, it was very similar to yesterday's session, and the S&P has continued its uptrend yet again with another higher high here, and really we're getting more and more overextended as we continue hitting these higher highs. Like I said in yesterday's video, the S&P was overbought based on the RSI here on the hourly chart, right? You can see yesterday it was at about a 73 on this threshold from 30 to 70, and in today's session it's actually even higher than that. It's at about a 79, which is approaching ridiculous overbought territory. So for me at this point, I really could see the S&P 500 and the whole market at that, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ included, maybe take a little pull down. The S&P here, maybe it goes down to that 180 SMA, or not the 180, actually the 50 SMA, which is this green line here on the hourly chart, which has held as a support in pretty much every correction that we've seen here over the past 3 weeks, which is what this 20-day 1-hour chart indicates. So I really could see that happening from 33.30, maybe we see some consolidation on Monday. Actually, not on Monday because the market's closed on Monday, FYI to everybody out there. But on Tuesday, maybe we see some consolidation, and then from there, maybe we pull down a bit to test that 50 SMA, putting the S&P, hey, maybe around 3,300, maybe around 3,310, and from there, we can see whether or not it wants to continue the uptrend like it has pretty much every single time it's pulled down in the past here. So if we're pulling up the Dow, we can see it ended up going up $50.46 today at the close, up 0.17%. And just like the S&P, the Dow Jones Industrial Average also hit an all-time high today at $29,373.62. And much of the move came in the pre-market gap up, although it wasn't too big of a gap up. We ended up again closing up just 0.17%. It was a gap up nonetheless, and we just consolidated really for the rest of the day there. Then we ended up rallying a little bit in the, the last 30 minutes of the market here. Not to hit an all-time high like the S&P, but either way, we still ended up closing on a nice little bullish note, which is good. So if we're going to the hourly chart, we can see, just like the S&P, this is pretty overbought. It's pretty overextended. The RSI is reaching, really, it already is at levels of extreme overboughtness, right? You can see it's at about 74.96 now, so I wouldn't be shocked. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if the Dow were to pull down, maybe to that 50 SMA on this hourly chart, putting it at around, let's say, 29,085, maybe 29,100, maybe 29,150. That could be a general area where I'd consider it a healthy pull down for the Dow Jones. So very similar. You're going to notice this, guys. The markets, they move very similarly for the most part. The S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ, that is. And if I pull up the NASDAQ, you'll see it also had a green day today, just like the S&P and the Dow. This one went up 0.39%, up $36. And let me take a look on this hourly chart, or the daily chart rather, to see. Yes, it hit an all-time high today. The futures did here at 91.8925, and that's actually right when the market closed. And when the market closed, we actually took a little bit of a sell-off here in the NASDAQ. But either way, on the hourly chart, we can see all-time high was hit. Obviously, the uptrend is intact, and we aren't as overbought as the S&P and the Dow, and I actually mentioned this in yesterday's video, but we're still getting to that level, to the overbought status, which again is around 70 on this relative strength index, also known as the RSI. So are we going to pull down in this? I think it's very possible, very healthy, and very likely over these next couple of days. So a level here on the NASDAQ that I'd love to see it pull down to could be around maybe 9,100 flat, maybe 91.20, maybe 91.30, and that would be putting the NASDAQ above that 50 SMA on this hourly chart. And me personally, I'm still bullish on these markets here in the short term. I really am, guys, and I've been talking about that on this channel. So ETFs that I personally like to trade whenever the markets do take a dip and I'm overall bullish on the market still are some of these ETFs right here. So let's say the NASDAQ does pull down. TQQQ could be an ETF that I might want to get in for a swing trade. And this ETF is a 3x leveraged ETF that simply tracks the NASDAQ. Let's say the NASDAQ goes up 1%. This ETF will be up 3%. So let's say we do get that little correction in the NASDAQ. This pulls down to the 50 SMA at around $97, $97.50. This could be a nice dip if I'm overall bullish on the market. And again, I personally am. But now you have to ask yourself, if you are, then if you are, you could consider this as well if you understand how it works, right? So if you want to trade one based on the S&P, for example, you can do SPXL, which is very similar to TQQQ, but it tracks the S&P instead of the NASDAQ, right? And if the S&P goes up 1%, you guessed it, SPXL will be up 3%. So S&P, if it pulls down like I think it will, we can maybe get in this one at about 70, 75, maybe $71, and that could be a nice little dip on the nice bullish momentum that we're seeing here in the overall markets, and you'll get a leveraged version of the market momentum here with these leveraged ETF products. But understand they are risky, guys, because they are leveraged, they move quicker, they're more volatile, and I think a more experienced trader should mess with these, and no really beginner out there should mess with leveraged ETFs or leveraged ETNs at that matter, but that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. So overall, that is it in terms of the market update. Some ETFs that I'm looking to trade that track the market. Now, let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on the market, any stocks that you're watching, and what do you think about the markets? If you were to put put $1,000 on the market right now, for example, going up or going down, where would you put your money? Would you buy call options here in the short term, or would you buy put options? I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that. So what I personally did today in the markets, guys, honestly, I didn't do anything. Today was one of those days where I just sat on my swing trades. I did some buying yesterday, earlier this week. I did some selling, big profit taking. So I figured today being Friday, Mondays being, Martin Luther King Day, the market is closed. Let me just play it safe. I made a nice amount of money this week trading Beyond and all those other stocks we've talked about in these videos. So I figured I'm just going to chill. And if you guys don't know some of the swings that I'm in a couple right now, and let me notify and just tell you guys what those are. So Uber is the first one that I'm in that did probably the best today out of the swings that I'm in. This one was up 1.3%, up 45 cents on the day. And this is one that I've been buying and building a position in here over the past couple of weeks. There were some times where I actually locked in some profits, then re-entered after locking in those profits. And this go around, this time that I'm trading it, my position is really built around the 34 to the $35 range. That's where I'd say the main position is right now, more in the low 34 range. And honestly, the goal sell point on Uber, like I've been mentioning in these videos, is around $36. And by the looks of it, this could hit 36 either on Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe some point next week, especially the way that it ended up closing today, looking extremely bullish in my opinion. I think, if we pop above 35.30, which at this point is a resistance from a couple days ago, it should fill the gap straight up to $36, and that's where I'm looking to sell. Another one that I'm in is Beyond Meat, ticker symbol BYND, and this is one that I actually got in 2 days ago at about 113. It ended up dumping that day. I cut my losses. Then the next day, which was yesterday, I actually bought a little bit back in to Beyond Meat. I believe I bought in around, like $108 per share, and I'm simply just holding onto those shares as of right now. Today, we saw some resistance at this 50 SMA on the hourly chart. So that is kind of why I didn't add more. If it were to break out of here, maybe try to test its way back into the mid 110s, maybe 120s, that's where I might have added or considered adding more to the position. But the fact that we didn't break that, I didn't add money. And the fact that we actually held 105 and we closed above the support from the past couple of days, that led me to hold my shares from yesterday. So this is just a hold in my opinion right now. You can see the consolidation is looking good, but I need to just see the pop up into the 115s, and that's where I'd probably add more into Beyond Meat. Another one that I'm in is Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. This is very similar to Beyond Meat. It saw a correction, but over the past 2 days, it's been simply consolidating. Today, Tesla was down $2.99, nothing crazy, down 0.58%. And this is one that I've actually been in since Friday, I believe. So 1 week ago, I bought into Tesla, and I actually bought in at about $480 per share. So I rode the wave up, did not sell here. In hindsight, that would have been a good place to sell, but we didn't know at that point that would have been the place to sell. So I held through this little sell-off, and now I'm just holding through. I'm up about $30 per share on my shares, which is ridiculous for 1 week, and I still feel comfortable holding these shares heading into next week, especially since the trend overall is still up here. You can see the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart is holding. You can see on the 20-day 1-hour chart, the 180 SMA is holding. So I feel comfortable here with Tesla, and ultimately, I actually have a limit order in my brokerage at about, $575. That's where I plan on selling my Tesla shares. I know that's a bit lofty. That's about $60 away from where we are now, but that's just where it is, right? And you can always adjust your limit orders You can always just drag them down. I know on Fidelity, where I trade most of the time, right, you can drag down your limit order. So I might drag it down maybe 550, 555, depending on how next week goes. But as of now, that is where it is on ticker symbol TSLA. So those are the main three that I'm in. Some other positions, we talk about these often, but I haven't been adding to them. Some of them are Activision. This one actually did well today, up 81 cents, up 1.34%. PayPal, I'm still in this one. This one did well as well, up 64 cents, up 0.55%. We actually dipped here on PayPal, so this could be a nice entry for those that, in my opinion, haven't entered yet, but don't enter it just because I'm saying that, right? Do your own research first, then enter it. But I do think since we hit 117.60, we pulled down to about 116 now, opening about at 1.4%. This could be a nice opportunity for PayPal. So now, guys, let me know quickly in the comments what you think about those trades. What are you guys doing in terms of your trading? Now, let's rally through these bunch of stocks that I've listed on my phone here that I want to talk about. So NIO continued its rally yet again in the rumor of a financing from GAC, which is a Chinese automobile maker. GAC is supposed to, allegedly here, rumor has it, finance NIO with $1 billion. That's a B, guys, billion. So that ended up shooting NIO stock 2 days ago, and we saw a day where NIO was crushing it. It saw, what was it, like an increase of 20% that day. The stock went to about 450, saw a bit of resistance there at 450, sold all the way back down to about $4, popped up yesterday. We closed at about 450, which again is that resistance from a couple days ago, but with today's action up 7%, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we're officially in the next channel now. So we're trading between $4.50 and $5 per share. And if you guys remember that day when NIO went up 90%, we actually reached $4.87. So for this upcoming week, the shortened week we have, watch for 90. This is where, again, we pretty much topped off at a couple days ago, more like a couple, 7-10 days ago. And for NIO, I think the momentum from this financing rumor is going to keep pushing the stock up. And if NIO comes out and confirms it 100% that it is true, which hasn't happened quite yet, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I think NIO can easily go to $5, $5.50 per share, and really just break through that resistance from a couple days ago, break through $5, and again get to about $5.50. So from here, I honestly believe that this is a pretty good buy spot for NIO. We broke the resistance. That's a good sign, and I think it'll bring more momentum into the stock from here. And obviously, people believe that the financing is going to go through. Why else would the stock be running up here, guys? And expect a massive move if it officially goes through to $5.50. I'm telling you, I believe that is going to happen. So overall, that is it for NIO. Nothing too crazy to say about it. Just watch the news, watch what happens with the financing, and if it goes through, expect the stock to go up. At least that's what I personally think. I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that down below in the comments section. A couple of other ones. Johnson & Johnson here, guys. This is one of those quote-unquote safer stocks, value stocks that I've personally been buying in my long-term accounts, and you guys can see my public M1 portfolio. I've been buying it heavy in that account, and we actually just hit an all-time high today, I believe, in Johnson & Johnson at $149.49. And notice how on this 3-year, 1-week chart, we're finally getting out of this horizontal pattern that it seems like we've been trading in between, what is this, $120 and about $149 to about $150. So I've been seeing some price targets on Johnson & Johnson. Analysts have it pegged at I believe at $160, $165, maybe $170 was the highest target I saw. And I believe that could definitely happen here, in, at least in the short term, right? This is a stock that has been battling litigation with, all of these lawsuits on their products, their asbestos breakouts, all of this craziness that's been going on with Johnson & Johnson. That's been, dragging the stock down over the past couple of months. Let's just be honest and face it, guys, right? Ever since, really the end of 2018, this stock has been struggling. It's been suppressed in a way. Now it seems like it's finally exploding. Obviously it's still in litigation. There's still litigation around the company, around these different issues, but it seems like investors and traders are foregoing that and realizing the value that Johnson & Johnson offers. If you guys saw, just from a dividend perspective, right, down here in the 120s, 130s, their dividend was at like 3.5 to 3%, which is pretty good for a dividend king. I believe it is a king, which is a company that's increased their dividend, that has increased their dividend for 50 plus years. So getting a 3.5% dividend with the consistency and the dividend growth that J&J offers down here, that was a good deal, which is why I've been buying it since then. And now, from a long-term perspective, maybe I'll reinvest dividends here, but on a trader's perspective, this could bring momentum on the all-time high break that we haven't seen in a while. And you can see recently there's been a lot of momentum in J&J. The stock's gone up $4 or $5 in the matter of 3 trading days. So I'd definitely watch this from $150. Maybe it rallies up to $155, $160. I definitely see potential in Johnson & Johnson now that it's kind of breaking out of that suppressed area that it's been in here over the past couple of weeks. So not to drag this video too long, guys, but a couple other ones, and we'll talk about many more of these stocks on Sunday, which every Sunday I go over my plan for the upcoming week. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, again, subscribe to the channel and maybe drop a comment on any ticker symbol that you want me to potentially talk about in Sunday's video. So Square, I'm really liking this one if it breaks above $70.50. This is the level that I'm watching on Square, and until then, guys, I'm simply on the sidelines, and I'm going to create an alert very quickly. Let's put it at around $71, so when I get triggered, when I get alerted there, we'll be able to maybe trade it from there back up to $74. And Square is another one of those stocks that's been crushed, and now it seems like it's on the up and up. It's on the come up. So watch that zone there on Square. I believe that's very, very possible that it fills that gap. And the last one that I want to talk about here is CGC. Very similar to Square in a sense, where it's been battered down, and now over the past couple of days and weeks, it's been seeing a turnaround. Today, it was up 59 cents, up 2.43%. The big move came, I believe, this day here, where the stock went from $20.60 all the way up to $23 in a day. And ever since then, it seems like a bunch of volume's been kicking in and just continuing to push the stock up. So CGC, I think from, what is it now, $25.20 up to about, let's say, $27, $27.30. That could be the next tradable range that we, trade and the gap that we fill here on this particular stock. So overall, guys, that is it for this video. Let's end off the video, actually, taking a look at this screenshot from one of our Discord members. They put it in the Discord chat. We can see some of the stocks that are reporting earnings coming up this week. We can see not many of the massive companies out there, but just pause the video if you guys do want to see some of these for yourselves. But on Tuesday, we have Netflix. Wednesday, we have Ally. These are a bunch of companies that, honestly, I'm not too familiar with, but again, you can see them for yourselves. Thursday, Procter & Gamble, American Airlines, JetBlue, Southwest, a bunch of airlines there. Discover, Kimberly-Clark, Intel. Then on Friday, we have American Express, Ericsson. Wow, I actually haven't seen that brand in a while. My cousin, believe it or not, Now that I'm thinking about that, I think he used to have a phone by Ericsson back in the day. But either way, guys, those are just a couple of stocks that are reporting earnings next week. And I'll wrap the video up here. So if you enjoyed it, feel free to go down below, hit that like button for me. And again, consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see further content from me. And if you haven't quite yet claimed your 2 free stocks from Webull, I actually have an affiliate link down below where if you deposit $100 into the account using my link, you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400, which is insane. So go take advantage of that deal. That is linked down below in the description box. Thanks for watching. I hope you all had a fantastic week of trading and you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for the support. As always, peace out.